Welcome to Mendezville Live, where it's something to talk about. Here is Rudy Mendez.
What's going on, Mendezville Live? We got another show for you. It's a good one. We got school board candidate coming up. We're going to be talking about perspective, points of views, experiences. Lots of experience coming up. But before we go into that, I want to make sure for those watching, I cannot let this one go. We're gonna have vote. There's gonna be a vote for the city of Palmview city tax, and my thing is opportunity cost. Should we give the people on average an average savings per year of $10 to $15 individually, or should we keep the taxes the same so the city manager and the city can have, when you add those 12 to $15 combined with all the citizens, that adds up to a lot of money, to where I think the city needs it. I think I do believe in all five council people that are there right now. I think they're doing a good job. I think they're heading in the right direction. If they get reelected, the ones that are going up for reelection, I think they're doing a great job. If they don't, the other candidates, they're going to be doing well too. Either or, whatever you vote for, I think both of them are going to be solid. The biggest thing is what kind of budget is the city manager going to have to make better moves for the city of Palmview? But that's just my thing. Is it better to keep individually over a course of the one whole year $12 to $15, or for everybody combined, keep it as is so the city manager can have more money to deal with in the city of Palmview without getting any loans to make payroll or anything like that? But anyways, that's my spiel for today. One more thing. Today's show is brought to you by World Finance. When life throws unexpected expenses your way, World Finance is here to help. Whether it's medical bills, car repairs, or child care expenses, a personal installment or title loan can help you take control and get back to the good things in life. Even if you have a low credit score or no credit score, they will help you get the money you need. Get started by applying today at their Mission location at 1600 North Conway, Suite A, Mission, Texas. They can take applications by phone at 956-580-4533. One more time, 956-580-4533. Or you can visit their website at loansbyworld.com. They are accepting applications with matriculas, passport, or ITIN. You do not need to have a social to apply. All loans are subject to their usual credit underwriting policies. World Finance. Also brought to you by For Life Transfer Factor Products, independent distributor Rodolfo Mendez. You can find transfer products at www.forlife.com/Rudy Mendez. All right. So that's the marketing. That's the sponsorship. Come on in, Levy. My son's bringing me a glass of water. Thank you so much, buddy. Come on. Thank you, buddy. Okay, you're eating Whataburger. Thank you so much. Okay, so the family's having dinner and I'm having a podcast. Great job. Ha! Woo! Hey, here we go. My guest, currently running for place 6 and is a school teacher at Mission CISD, and we'll get into her experience. Let's welcome Pamela Flores. Pamela, how are you doing today?
I am doing really good. Thank you.
Pamela, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I want to get into your brain and your experience. I know you've been how long have you currently, what is it you do right now?
I am a physical ed teacher and the girls coordinator at Mission Junior High. This is my 13th year there.
Nice. So a fellow PE person, a fellow athletic coach.
This is I'm starting my 30th year in the education field.
Oh wow, 30 years.
Yes.
30 years. You know, I know one of the candidates. She's a retired teacher. She was in the business career field for a very long time as well. Está Leonora Garcia. Are you running again? Is that the same seat or a different seat?
No, she's running, and I think it's seat number 4. Not too sure.
I haven't memorized all the seats and all the 3.
I just worry about my seat.
Right. So let me ask you this. So who's in your seat right now?
I am running against Oscar Salinas and Irma Veloz. Oscar Salinas and I are classmates.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Irma Veloz. Oh, I had Irma on the show the other day.
Yes, sir.
She had some pretty good concerns as a parent. It was pretty interesting hearing her point of view. Not too bad. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that's a great guy. I do want to mention, and this for you and the public is when I mention things, it's not a knock on trying to put people down. It's more of we got to learn from things that are being done, the things that are, that people mention, the facts. I think the more truthful we are, the better we do as a community and as a school board and across the valley, because there's a bunch of elections going on across the valley right now. What do you think about that?
I think that it's a great idea. We do have I'm sorry. Say my mom is making a noise. What was refresh my memory on the question, sir? I'm sorry.
No worries. It's just more of the more truthful we are and the more honest we are with the past experiences. For example, let me give you this example. So you mentioned Coach Salinas. So the other day, Coach Salinas and Armin Garza, right?
Yes.
Great guys, great individuals, very smart. I know Armin went to Waco and he was at Baylor. I got to hang out with him once over there when I was visiting for a flag football tournament. Anyway, the point is that I'm not here to knock anyone. It's just they came out and they mentioned the things that they had accomplished,
right,
which I thought was pretty good. They talk about the buses and the new gates and things of the tracks and just different the devices. Very good things. And then I think to myself, so when that commercial came out, there's all these different perspectives and analysis from my point.
Right.
So one was, okay, those are awesome. Great, first and foremost, great accomplishments. Right. So then we might as well elect all four. Why are they split? Because they all went in there together. Why are they split? What happened? What do the voters need to know? And my thing is, what do voters need to know? What are we missing out on that all of a sudden you go in together, you campaign together, but now you're split? The other one go ahead.
I think there's a lot, from my point of view,
right?
I think there's a lot at play here. These school board members, at the end of the day, there's too many backdoor deals. And unfortunately, many costly decisions that, it was great that they bought these buses that, during this pandemic time, they invested more in the technology. But they've also made some very unwise decisions. When we made that decision to invest in or take monies from the reserve to invest into a water park that was not needed and buy a golf course, which is not needed. And the LED lights, that was another $32 million investment on the school district's
I did not know that. I did not know that.
And they've saved $1 million. So you're telling me a $32 million investment has so far saved us only $1 million. I researched some of the stuff about the water park, because there was a lot of individuals in our state who were not very happy with
La Jolla.
God,
I get clowned on all the time from my friends from Austin, San Antonio. They're like, oh my God, what is your district doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of any of that. There's a lot of people that look down on us for that.
Yes,
I don't know what went down. Can you give us some feedback on that?
First of all, I didn't think the investment was a very good investment. I mean, honestly, all that money could have been invested into our kids and more technology, more teachers, people that are in the trenches, when they report it, because obviously we don't see the newspapers that when they talked about how La Jolla did this with the Robin Hood, because Robin Hood, you have La Jolla is a chapter 42 school. We're a poor school.
That's good information right there. Chapter 42. And
the rich schools are chapter 41 schools.
Oh,
okay. So what they do is these schools send funds to the state, and then the state splits them evenly, and in the hopes is for them to invest in their students, in their teachers, and their salaries. And that's obviously something that didn't happen. So the district, according to these rich schools, they were upset because no one in the state of Texas has their own water park. Nobody in the state of Texas has their own golf course. And I'm not saying that not everything was bad from that investment. I think the only positive thing from that investment was the natatorium. Because I know when I worked at La Jolla, I feel bad for our swimmers, because they dealt with when the city failed to take care of the swimming pool, they were having to swim in cold water. or when it was
I swam in that cold water. I swam for about a year and a half. Oh my God.
So, I mean, that was the only investment in that I felt was worthy, But other than that, I honestly, I think that money should have been invested into our kids. And then, you have, apparently there was an article written where La Jolla lost, just in owning this water park. It was a guy from the Texas Monitor. He says that he wrote it back in February of 2019. La Jolla lost last year $250,000 just owning that water park. And then in the golf course, we lost $300,000. So we're not in the business to lose money. I mean, those are monies that we could generate back into our school system. So I definitely don't agree that we're having to finance these entities because we made a wrong investment, and it obviously is not paying off.
So let's take a pause right there and let's analyze this for the voters a little bit more, for people to understand. One is, you mentioned Chapter 42, which is great, and Robin Hood Act. I had Oscar Longoria here the other day. He explained how that happens. You explained that a little bit more, which is good. When it comes to losing that $200,000 and $250,000, you're talking about $500,000 already.
You're
talking about $500,000. Okay, so I don't know the numbers. I mean, you're more informed. You're running for candidate. You're running for a seat. Inform the voters. They need to know this stuff.
Right.
When we talk about that, is my biggest thing with that is, as a voter, is, or even in general, is, what do the numbers look like? How many kids use it daily? Are the numbers? How many swimmers? It's just, do people use it? For the amount of money that we spent.
And I don't know exactly how it's allowed to be used or not. I know that last summer or 2 summers ago, our own swimming kids from the high school were having to pay to utilize the center. And I was like, it was an investment made for our swimming programs, and yet they're having to pay to use it. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, if it was built, with having your students in mind and wanting what's better for your community, then why are our own students, offer like a card and where they can use it and they can go in there.
It's like basketball players going to play open gym and they have to pay to get into.
It didn't make sense. And people, a lot of parents were upset because their kids were having to pay. They were having to pay as if they were going to swimming, to do laps. Like, 'cause I know I go do laps in Mission during the summer, of course, not this summer, but during the summer we pay a monthly fee.
Yeah, you got your little card, right? I've done that before, yeah.
And these kids were having to do that, and I was like, what? The whole purpose of spending this money, investing this money into this was to help our kids, and yet we're holding them, we're having them pay. It just did not make sense. And I honestly don't know if it got cleared up, but it was upsetting because it's like, then why did you build this auditorium, if it wasn't to be utilized by the school district? Because it should be everybody.
Yeah. Me personally, on a very personal note, I would have gone the route of, we're going to give everybody, all 3 high schools, 6 lanes for practice, and you don't have to use buses. You don't waste time. It's like, it's right there on campus. You go swim, go do your thing, and then come, whatever. But that's just me personally. I don't know the ins and outs of that decision. That was done, maybe 5 years ago? I have no idea.
For the swimming pool, I don't know. But
But either way, at this point, you as a community member, being in the district, you are against the fact that we spent all that money. Now, let me ask you this. You win the board. Let's say you win your seat. Is there in this subject of the water park, you win your seat, do you say, you know what, we got to get rid of it, let's try to sell it so we don't lose money because the Alamo Dome in San Antonio loses money every year.
Right.
If we're losing money, are you one of those people that says, you know what, we need to sell it because we're not making money? It's costing money.
Unless a department of our business and finance department are going to come up with a great idea of how we're going to generate funds, something needs to happen to that place. Because it's not fair for the school district to be absorbing those losses. It's not fair because those monies could be reinvested somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm a big
More
fan
teachers.
I'm a fan of 8-lane rubber tracks at every.
I
junior
agree.
high, but that's just
I
me.
agree. There could be so many other things that we could be spending that money in, and losing money like that should never be an option. We should always find a way to, okay, how is it that we're going to better our students? The technology, the resources, the tools. Right. It shouldn't be well, let's try to make a park here and see how much money how much money we can possibly make. I honestly don't think that these individuals, when they made that decision, they did their homework, because there's no way they could have possibly thought that this water park and the golf course was going to generate the kind of money that it needs to sustain itself.
I think you make a good point on the whole losing money is, and I think sometimes when it comes to losing money, I would say maybe not that, and like $500,000 a year is not great, right? Let's say we're losing money, 100,000, but if the numbers and a lot of kids are using it, that's a little bit different, right?
Right.
Because in every sport we lose money, and
right.
kind of we're gonna lose money, but the number of kids that use certain things is greater. For example, San Benito's about to build. Have you seen the San Benito one that they're gonna build like a big indoor facility?
No, I think I think Farb made one. No.
Farb made one, but I think that's for the city. No, I think San Benito School District is going to make one. And I personally like that one because they're going to have sports, high school sports of like football, softball, batting cages come down from the very top. I read a little article, skimmed through it. I was like, okay, me personally, now you're talking. Because see, when I was at universities, I got to go to different universities. They have those indoor, like University of Nebraska in Lincoln. Oh my God, what a great facility they have indoor for football. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. UTSA is about to build theirs. So I've been in those facilities where I see where there's a lot more students will be able to use some of those things. But you do present a good point. So you mentioned, let's get the audience to know you a little bit before we go more into the different situations that we're going to talk about. You mentioned you worked in La Jolla before?
Yes.
Well, okay. Can you give us a little timeline of your career just so we can know Pamela Flores?
My first 5 years, I spent it at the administration building as a switchboard operator. I started as a paraprofessional.
Oh, nice.
And then I left the school district for 2 years, and I went and finished my degree. I came back and I got hired at Nelly Junior Middle School.
Way back when.
And I was there a couple of years with under J.D. Salinas, great boss. Descanse Paz.
You were doing what, Miss? What were you doing there?
PE. I've always taught PE.
Okay.
1 year I did teach NCRI history.
Okay.
And then I was moved. Every year the female coaches would complain, or it was a concern that they never got an opportunity to move up. Within the middle school coaches were never looked at to be high school coaches, or when there was an opening up at the high school, no one ever asked the middle school coaches, are you willing to come up? So,
right.
But nobody ever wanted to go and talk to our athletic director at that time. Well, I did. I went and sat down and I spoke to him, and I voiced their concerns, and he's like, okay, coach, I'll meet with the coaches and I'll hear their concerns. And he did. He came and met with us, and then came the summer, and there was 2 jobs. We opened that new campus, which was Juarez Lincoln. Juarez Lincoln was a freshman campus.
Oh,
well, nobody wanted to move up. So he says, Coach, since nobody wanted to move up and you did the talking, you're going to have to do the walking. So I got moved to the freshman campus.
Andele.
And so I moved to the freshman campus. I was there a couple of years. Then it was 4 years. And then the next 6 years, I was at La Jolla Senior High. At La Jolla Senior High,
what years were those? Around what time?
99 all the way to 2005.
Oh, I was there in 99. I graduated in 99.
Yes. I was the head track and cross country coach.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
At La Jolla High.
Nice.
And then when the politics changed, I decided to change myself, because I knew that if I stayed behind, I would probably be one of those persons that I would get reassigned, because my father did not sit on the team that was in control at that time. So at that time, Rio Grande City opened a position for softball, and that's always been my passion. I grew up around softball all my life.
Mm-hmm.
My dad coached summer leagues with the women. I coach baseball during the summer for the Boys and Girls Club. So it's something that I've always wanted to do. So I said, you know what? Let me put my name in the hat and see what my chances are. Well, I got it. So I left to
Nice.
Rio Grande City, and I was over there for a couple of years. Uh, if I thought La Jolla was political at that time, Rio Grande was worse.
I've heard those stories. I've heard Rio Grande and the politics. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, I left La Jolla because of this, and here I got thrown right in the middle of it. So I came back to La Jolla for a year. It was the time when they were dividing the schools to Juarez, Lincoln, and Jimmy Carter. I
Okay.
threw my name in the hat for the head softball and head track job. Didn't get the opportunity. Again, the politics was not something that aligned with what my father's, who he stood with. And so at that time, Mission Junior High was offering a position for the girls coordinator. And I took a chance, and, the rest is history.
So you've been there for 15 years.
This is my 13th year there.
Oh, 13th year.
Yes.
Oh my God. So I have a bunch of just in that timeline right there. There's some good questions for you and moving forward with to let the voters know about your positions on certain things as a school board member. But let me ask you this: you talk about coordinator position, and this is not school board. This is just to educate us on the way you guys do it. Can you go ahead and describe or go into detail a little bit more on the coordinator position? What are you talking about, female coordinator position?
My responsibility as a coordinator is I organize. I have a group,
Wait, but like you have two coordinators.
Yes, we have a female coordinator and we have a male coordinator at each of our middle schools.
Do you get an extra stipend for that?
Yes, we do.
Interesting.
We get an extra stipend and we get extra days because we do all budgets, transportation.
Right. You take care of the girls' side. You take care
everything,
of
anything having to do with the girls' side, I take care of. Coaches that, whatever coaches I have under me, volleyball, basketball, track, cross country, golf, swimming, tennis, all these coaches, we are given a direction of what it is that their responsibilities are. And my job is to make sure they follow the responsibilities of what what Mission CISD expects of us as coaches.
So are you the only district that does that, or because I know we don't have it in La Jolla?
La Jolla is the only school district, and I think the Rio Grande Valley, maybe even the state of Texas, who doesn't have that. I know I've always, I know you've never been my friend on Facebook, but it's something I've always ranted about. I feel that that is something La Jolla needs. Every school, there should have a female representation. It would take so much away from the responsibility for the guys, in the sense that, I was mentioning to you before, football season, our male coaches are very busy. They are married to football. They've got all these responsibilities. The last thing they want to do is have to deal with something, something went wrong on the female side. Somebody didn't do something. Someone failed to do something. And at this point, we help in there. We alleviate. We're the ones. We're the voice for the female side. And so, a lot of times there's a miscommunication between our males and our females when you don't have someone, voicing for the female side. And I feel that if our school district would invest into having a voice for our girl side, things would run a lot smoother, and our girls program would be, personally, this is what I always say. I feel like their girls program at La Jolla is always treated as secondhand citizens. Why? Because no one is being their voice. It shouldn't, we shouldn't have to rely on one individual to be the voice of everybody. If we have females there that can do the job. And and I know there's a lot of females in our junior highs and our high schools who do a hell of a job, and not only do their job, but a lot of times when these male coordinators are failing at providing or leading in the direction that they need to lead, these female coaches pick up. Because why? At the end of the day, they don't want to disappoint the kids, because those are the ones that suffer.
Right. And you know what? There's two sides to that coin.
Right.
I will say this, to me personally, athletes are athletes, and it's let me just give everybody a side story here. Is I know one time my wife went to work out at TrueFit, right? And I told her what to work out on, right? So I stayed here with the kids. I said, hey, do this, and this. So she goes and starts doing her bench press, her dumbbell flies on the bench, and the trainer comes in and she told me when she got home, she goes, yeah, he told me not to do that. I was like, what do you mean not to do that? It's a human body. You have muscles on your chest. What's wrong?
Right.
He said, don't listen to that guy. To me, it's the human body, athletes are athletes, males, females. We got to take care of them. We got to take care of them. We got to train them. So from your female, I hear horror stories sometimes, and I want to listen to your perspective on this. What do you do when you hear the horror stories that those you're talking about football, and we fall in love, and I fall in love with football. What do we do when you hear those stories that there's coaches that will skip certain PE classes to go inside and watch film or do their football thing? What is it right, wrong, or is there a balance? What do you see there?
It's not right. It's not right. You get paid to do a job, and your job at that time is to teach. You should be at your teaching job. You have a responsibility, and you made a commitment when you started teaching that's your priority. Because number one, we're teachers.
Right.
Our stipend. Our stipend is separate and aside, and that's done either before school starts or after school. Should not be done during the day.
Or conference or lunch, right? Or
conference or lunch. Yes. Our football coaches. I mean, I'm sure like you all, our football coaches, they have film to watch and break down all that stuff, but they either do it during their lunch, during their conference, or after school, or on the weekend. I mean, just like high school coaches, I'm sure we don't work just the long hours like they do, but we invest. We invest a lot of time too.
We do.
And for me, and our what I always preach to my coaches, and what I preach to my kids is, I will give you 100%. The investment is what what you're going to see from me, but I want to see from you too. And you got to lead by example. And I don't agree with coaches taking time or taking 2-3 hour lunch. Hey, cover my class. I'm not going to make it on time. Or, hey, I need to go run this errand. And, and I'm not going to say that there's not times where there is emergencies, but don't take advantage. Don't take advantage.
Don't take advantage.
Exactly. I mean, you have to lead by example, and the kind of leader you want to be should reflect on your actions, your character. And if you don't lead with the characteristics that you expect for them to follow, you're going to fail. And that's not what we want to build. Leaders from the coaches that work under us, because at some point in our lives, we're hoping that they lead, somewhere. Because my dad used to always say, if you don't ever aspire to be a head coach, you got no business in coaching.
You know what? I like that. I like that. And let's touch on that on the head coaching, because I'm leading somewhere with that. It's very, very interesting. But you mentioned your dad a few times right now. Mm-hmm. The only thing I know is that I'm assuming he was on the school board for many years with Mr. Amancio Chapa.
Yes,
or
sir.
Something like that. What was it? So that's why you mentioned your dad, because he was on the school board.
Yes.
You mentioned, if you don't aspire to be a head coach, okay, now I'm gonna make a little story, here we go, and let's see what you comment on this. Me personally, okay, we get paid a pretty penny. I think teachers, we get paid well. Now, of course, we don't get paid as much as we think we deserve, but we get paid well, right? We, enough. We get enough. It's comfortable. If you're responsible in savings, we get paid very well, I think.
Right.
Okay. So now, aspiration of a head coach. I believe, me personally, I think I can coach a high school team. Basketball, I think I can. Now, granted, I need to learn the administrative parts because I've never been there. I did it 1 year JV. But to me, and even freshmen, I would love to go freshman and help Coach Eric Montalvo, because him and I talk about things and the development and the players and what are we doing at least twice per week, at least, right?
Right.
And there's been times where he goes, hey, are you ready to come to freshman? I'm like, I can't. I said, I can't because, and I tell him this. I tell him, Eric, you have to understand, for me, my stipend is $1,800 for the 2 weeks that I'm going to do boys basketball. I'm going to go referee for 2 months or let's say 6 weeks, and I'm going to make $3,000. There's no way you can compete with the money. And when you take opportunity cost, the money I'm going to make to the time I'm going to lose with my family to be a high school coach, it's not there.
Yes.
So you as a school board, do you see yourself saying, we need to get those stipends up there so we can recruit really good coaches to come to the high school?
I agree. I think La Jolla also is not very competitive in that, in the stipends.
And I think that's not only La Jolla. I think that's across the board. We don't pay enough.
We got, I know Mission, we got a raise this year. They gave all coaches, UIL, athletic coaches, if you coach any kind of team, people got a raise.
Really? I know Sherryland got a raise too for their stipend. The stipend, not the salary. The stipends.
The stipend. Well, we got both in Mission. We got a stipend raise and we got our salary raise. And Mission wants to be competitive with the rest of the valley, and I think they're doing a heck of a job in trying to compensate, for the what is it, where it's not even, with the rest of the district. But La Jolla, I think they've been at 1,800 since I was there, and I was there 13 years ago. So they do need to look into that. They do need to look at the rest of the school districts and see, just like they look at other school districts and how they run things, or try to be competitive at teacher salaries. They also need to stay competitive with every other salary that comes across. The only sad thing about La Jolla is that they don't post anything about salaries. You don't actually know who is making what. So that is something they also, they need to work at is being more transparent. A lot of times if somebody wants to come work at La Jolla, and they ask, they're wondering what the salary is, unless you're calling yourself and you've gotten the job and you're right there signing the contract, you actually have no idea because it's not posted anywhere. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but it's really not posted anywhere.
I will say this, just for the viewers, and this is just general knowledge for everyone watching. We need to share salaries more often. Because see, let me explain something to everyone who might be watching this right now. Is when we share salaries and we find out how much everyone's making, that's an advantage to the employees.
Right.
When no one knows, guess who advantage that is? The people at the very top. And this is not about La Jolla right now. This is just in general.
Right.
The more we share, the more power we have to negotiate.
Right. And not only that, but you don't feel like something is being hidden. Like there's no hidden agenda there. That's what when I don't find things, I'm thinking, what are they trying to hide? Why is it they're not showing salaries? I mean, it should be transparent. We should be able to know that if I am a coach at, this campus, then the coach at the next campus should be making the same amount of thing. But we're not too sure because those salaries or the scales are not shared with anybody.
Right. Yeah, and I heard the only story I can compare there in Mission was when Coach Detmer was hired. That kind of forced Mission CISD to give Coach Gilpin a nice raise to make sure that they were making the same amount. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
So that was a big plus for Coach Gilpin, and he runs a nice show over there. He's been pretty successful.
He's an awesome leader. I cannot say anything bad about my boss. He is an amazing boss. He is very positive, encouraging.
Also, you feed into Mission Vets?
Veteran. Yeah, I feed into Mission Veterans. Yeah, so we have a great organization. I cannot complain. I love the idea that I have a voice. We're all important. Every one of our schools have representation. We get together, and it's not like, don't talk now. It's not your turn. No, it's like, hey, Coach, what are you all doing? Hey, Coach, how can we help you out? Hey, Coach. Right. That's what it should be all about. Together.
Right, Pamela. Let me ask you this. So you mentioned about the whole voicing. So when you're a coordinator, do you have different meetings? Like all the female coordinators have a meeting with the athletic director, and then the male coordinators have a different, or you're there at the same time?
When we meet once a month as a UIO coordinator, UIO coordinators, and it's the female and the male coordinator from our school and every school in our district. When it's also the UIO coordinator, the people that do the UIO meets and the one-act play. And there's 7 of us. Aside from our principal, we meet once a month with the rest of the school districts, and it's during the school day.
So you're talking about right now, Mission, Sherryland,
Valley View. Yeah,
so that's a pretty big meeting then.
Yes, we have every school has 7-8 representatives times 6, 48 people in that meeting. And when our athletic directors or coordinators have something to say or something to share, like something's happening with the schedule, there's a meet coming up, and our coordinators need to have a say in what we decide at the middle school. They get involved. I mean, it's a collaboration among all of us, and it's great because, again, I feel that when you have that kind of an organization, you're gonna have success because everybody sees that they're important. They're that ingredient that's adding to the main course, and all of us want to succeed. All of us want to win. All of us want to do the right thing. All of us want to do what's best for a kid. And when you involve everybody like that and everyone has a voice, guess what? You're gonna be successful.
Right. Absolutely. So you meet once a month. Do you ever have weekly meetings just with Coach Gilpin or the athletic assistant director or anything like that?
We meet with our athletic director once a month, the
Only
coordinators,
I
once a
see.
month, just
Interesting.
us and her, and our athletic director, which is Coach Ibarra. And then with our coordinators, Coach Gilpin, he meets with us before school starts, which is in August. Of course, we haven't met right now because of the pandemic.
Right.
And then right before the school year is out or track season, because you see another thing that like track season, our coordinators at the high school, they're the ones that take care of it. We have coaches that assist, but they're the ones that are the course of the clerk, the timer. I mean, the main timer. They run it. We just assist with our, and usually we get coaches that are not in season so that our coaches can be with their kids. And so, I mean, again, the they work. I mean, Coach Gilpin and Coach Ibarra and Coach Detmer and Coach Howell, she's our female coordinator, and Coach Edna Clemens. I mean, they all find a way to make sure, as a staff, that we are all in the same page every day, every time. I mean, we communicate a lot through email, a lot
Right.
through email.
Right. That's good to know. That's a pretty good system you guys got there. I know. I'm interested in that track stuff because I love going with track season and developing my guy. I mean, most of the year, a lot of the workouts we have is developing speed, quickness, and
Right.
the vertical jump. And I like track because I'm in charge of the. In my school, I run the long and triple jump, and I mean, I go in there. I'm like, I know I'm gonna smoke everybody because I but not because
You
of the
you
fact
haven't competed against us.
that. Well, I mean,
We're very competitive too.
the development of the student, right? And knowing
Yes.
the way the different muscles work and all
Right.
these things. I mean, for example, you're talking about conference and lunches. I mean, during my conference and during my lunch, I mean, I'm just reading and YouTubing. On my drive to work, I have Audibles, the book, and it all revolves around the human body and how to make it develop and execution of whatever sport we have. It's
Right.
interesting. Pamela, that's very, very interesting, and I'm glad you're sharing that. So people around not only La Jolla but around the valley, I'm always a fan of what we call benchmarking, and
Right.
the business world is basically copying good things from other districts that work or other coaching styles. I'm like, hey, you know what? I like that, so I'm gonna implement it. I might add a twist to my persona, but I always like to steal good things.
Ideas.
And,
Yes.
yeah, and that might
And
be
let me share one about track because I love track.
Go ahead.
Softball's my passion. Track
Yeah.
is my love.
Right.
And this year we were because we didn't have our district meet. We had obviously the pandemic stopped
Yeah,
it, but
I was so
at-
bummed.
yeah, we were all bummed. I had practice during spring break with my kids. I was like, what? Mission High School or the Mission side was going to host our district meet. And we were having to use that where you input it into the track system and it automatically puts it into
Okay.
the lane according to time.
Oh, nice,
And Coach Detmer is the one that spearheaded that meeting. And, so we were kind of excited because we were going to have, we were going to use that new system. But then the pandemic hit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we didn't get to try it out. But yeah, I mean, our high school coaches are very involved with our junior highs in the sense of making sure we're all on the same page with our athletes, making sure that we're all working towards a goal, trying to get our kids, trying to get our kids to produce at their highest level.
Right, no doubt about it. All right, so I know we're supposed to be talking about school board, but you're a
know.
coach, I'm a coach. But it's good though because that way people understand your mindset.
Right.
So you guys are having sports or no sports for junior high?
Well, as I understand, we may have it. Yes.
Okay.
They
cool.
told us get ready, so we may.
All right, no, just so people out there know. You mentioned the factions, and let's go back to school board and politics.
Monday.
One of the things you mentioned earlier, and I know it happens, and I'm anti. I don't like this when people do this. Is when new seats you win, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you know what? Let's just say, oh, you know what, Rudy, you weren't going for Pamela Flores, you were supporting, let's say, Coach Salinas. Let's just say, as an example, is because of that, I'm gonna move you back into the classroom. I'm gonna get a new coach.
I don't agree with that.
And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I'm pretty good at what I do. Why are you gonna move me?
Right.
So what do you think about when factions win and all of a sudden people get moved because of revenge or stuff like that? What do you tell the people about that?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think right now we have a lot of issues with people being placed in positions that they don't hold the right credentials. They don't have the right um, experiences or experience, and they were put in a place or put in a position because of who they know and who they're related to. I don't agree with that. Now, would I go in there and know, you know what, you're all fired because you all are in the wrong position? No. But you know what? We need to fix that. We need to, if that individual is in the wrong position and is fulfilling is not fulfilling his responsibility, it's like you're going to go in there and say, these are actually your responsibilities. You're going to have a year to fulfill those responsibilities. At the end of the year, if somewhere along the line you failed at your responsibilities, you were given an opportunity. So now you gave the person the opportunity to fulfill the responsibilities that they got hired for. The sad thing is a lot of these individuals who were placed in positions are not fulfilling their responsibilities. And that's a problem.
I think I've had conversations with people where this is what we say, or this is a conversation that happened. It's like, look, I get it. Sometimes it happens. For example, me, let's just take me, Rudy Mendez. He's a math teacher for 6 years. I have a master's in sport management. My whole life, high school, college career has been around sport. I get stuck in the classroom, right? And all of a sudden they say, okay, you know what? We're going to give you a chance. Your resume shows it. Now, I'm not going to go in there and say, oh, now I'm going to just chill and relax. That's not my thing. It's like, no, okay, you gave me the chance. Now let me just showcase my talent. My talent. Right. I'm a big fan of showcasing my talent. Right. And I think you're touching on that is you don't just get rid of people if you do win. It's more of, hey, you have to won your probation because you understand that, according to what you're saying, is you understand that some positions are there because of what you mentioned.
Right. The politics.
Right. See, I don't know if any of that has been done, but the horror story, or not, I don't even want to say horror story. They're just stories that happen.
A lot of stories that are shared, yes.
A lot of stories that are shared, and some people are not happy with them because some people feel that they got overlooked. And it's not even getting overlooked. And this isn't even in La Jolla anymore. This is just across the valley because I have refs, when we referee, and a lot of people, we deal across the valley, and they all have very similar stories about situations that happen. I mean, just do your job. So okay, Pam, let me see what you have perspective on this. So almost every seat coming up, let me see, did I cover everything over here? Yeah, I think so. So every seat that's right now has at least 2 to 3
individuals
candidates.
Running. Right.
Right. Are they doing something wrong? Like, are they like Coach and Armin mentioned those 4 great things, and I said, I think I had Irma on here. I was like, well, we might as well just reelect them all because they're all part of the board. Or is it? Am I missing something that everybody's running all of a sudden? Like 2 people? What am I missing here?
I think that those accomplishments that they had are great. But a lot of those accomplishments happened in the last 6 months. It's not something that they did these last 4 years. It's election year. Hello. So of course you're going to start doing all the things that should have been done in the last 4 years. You're trying to do right now because why? You're trying to win votes. I think a lot of the individuals in our community and in our school district, I think that they're just tired of those individuals that we're talking about, that they place in positions, and a lot of times individuals that might have been waiting for that one opportunity, that one chance, of being moved up, or the opportunity, that oh my God, it's finally going to happen, and it doesn't happen because someone brand new is coming in because they're related to sister of friends of, whatever the case may be, and it's not right. I don't agree with that. You know what? Right. If the person has been loyal, and I don't, for me, loyalty doesn't mean you have to live in La Jolla. But if if you work in the district and you've been here 10, 15, 20 years, and you invested in your education, because a lot of these people continue to work on their education and wanting an opportunity to be the supervisor, the director, or whatever it is, those are the people that we need to be considerate of. It's not fair for someone brand new, maybe just graduated from college, sometimes graduated from college, but hasn't even passed the credentials or has the experience. And not only that, a lot of times these 15, 20-year folks are having to train those individuals for the job they wanted. How fair is that?
Oh man,
It's a slap in the face for those
Yeah.
individuals. It's not
It-
right.
it's like I agree. It's like somebody coming in to be let's just say at my school, the AC gets moved somewhere, and then it's like, well, I'm the AC now, and for someone
Right.
else to be the AC, which is, I don't mind. For example, just the example I'm using is if the next AC comes in and is very knowledgeable
Right.
and is very work ethic and responsible, all right, I'm good with it. No big deal.
Right. Right.
But if you to put someone in there like, hey, I can run circles around this person, I can see where you're coming from. in
It's
that situation.
upsetting. And
Right.
we've seen that time and time again. And I think individuals in our community and our district are just tired. And a lot of them don't say anything openly because they're afraid of retaliation. They're afraid of, their family members, getting threatened because it's happened. I mean, I hear stories like you do. They're horror stories. And I just can't believe that as adults, we cannot respect to have, differences of opinion on an individual. I'm not a fan of people, say I was to win. I get myself on the board and, I have, two individuals who, don't like me as an individual, during the day, because, I am a school board member, you got to respect the title. But after 5 o'clock, after 4, you are entitled to your opinion.
Mhm.
You're entitled to express yourself however you wish to. These people today have taken it to the next level. I mean, they are ruthless. I mean, they move people like there's no tomorrow. They hire people. They don't even have board meetings anymore to hire people, with the credentials or gone through the process, because all they do is they make a phone call to the superintendent. I have the 4 votes. You're going to hire this person. How right is that? That needs to change. That needs to change.
I would agree with the comment you made, and it needs to change if it is happening, right? If it is happening.
No, it is happening.
I'll tell you
And
what.
I know. And you work for the district, so you got to be careful. I don't.
Okay. I won't comment on that because I have people have asked me that question and I was like, I'm not here to knock everybody down. It's just I'm here for the voters, for information, and we need to be open about it. And when people do get offended from my stuff, it's like that means we're doing something wrong. Like if somebody's offended by my stuff, it's like, that means I'm touching a button that you're not supposed to. But anyways, that's besides the point. When you talk about the superintendent, I had Marco Suarez on here the other day, and working at universities, I didn't know who the board is the board. My thing was the president of the university. That's who's in charge. To me, that's who's in charge. To me, and I talked to Marco about it, I was like, the superintendent is the boss.
Should be.
The superintendent is the boss.
Right.
That's it. The board is there just to vote on certain situations. For example, even the city of Palmview, the city manager is the boss.
Right.
You're there to, the city manager brings something up or the superintendent brings something up, vote on it.
The board is there. The board is there to set policy. The superintendent's there to enforce the policies.
Right. And
board is there to set the policy, and the school and the superintendent, and that's obviously not happening anymore. And it's very unfortunate because the superintendent is put in a position where she's a damn if I do and damn if I don't. And at the end of the day, it's like, this is my take on that. As teachers, we take an oath. We see something wrong, we got to report it, because if we don't, what happens? We can get fired.
Right.
And I can't believe that our superintendents, in the past and now, as I hear, if something is not right, you can take a stand and stand up for what's right, and it's not happening anymore. And it's so unfortunate because again, there's a lot of backdoor deals happening. There's a lot of people, individuals can't afford to lose their spot on the board because there's a lot of money with contracts that they stand to lose. And it's very unfortunate because at the end of the day, the only ones that they're taking money from are kids, because a lot of these contracts are people that, that they know that they, fictitious companies or whatever, that they may have, they themselves are some way involved with those contracts, and they don't want to lose those contracts. They don't want to lose those big monies. And why? I am telling you, there's individuals who are making deals already between the two slates. They're talking about, look, I'm going to support you behind their back, but, my politiqueras are going to be with you. You don't have to worry about it. And at the end of the day, I'm going, here they're talking about integrity and we're all together on the same slate because we all have the same vision. No, that's not true, because one of your own or two of your own people already sold you out. They're already going to they're already talking to the people from the other slate. How worthy of a person are you when you do back deals like that? As it doesn't speak very well of your character. It doesn't speak very well of what you stand for.
Character. That's a very important word you use. Character. I think I've heard of backdoor deals. I've heard of people in the slate right now that some people might think that they really don't have a chance of winning, but so they can get those votes for the other individuals. I don't know if those individuals are no, or they really think. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's a chess game. It's a chess game, and I'm thinking to myself, do people on slates, and this is not just La Jolla, this is just regular
across the board, yes.
Yeah, across the board. This is just me analyzing even Democrats and Republicans in Congresses. At any point, do we say, well, we're going to get this person because I think this person is the best for the job, or this person is going to get us all these votes, win at all costs, no matter if we're putting bad people. Not that they're not bad, but there's better people over here.
Right. And I'm going to say something here. When I worked at Rio Grande, I had two assistants. Over there, they hired paraprofessionals. They made me understand every day how many votes they brought to the table. And I was like, oh my God. And La Jolla is getting to that. It's so unfortunate because just a few weeks ago, I understand there was an individual that had gone up to the board for as a recommendation, an individual that deserved the job, had all the credentials, had gone through the proper channels, had gone through the interview process.
Was good at what they did? Was good at what they did?
Yes, I mean, deserved the
That's my biggest thing. Are you good at what you do?
The guy, as I understand, is one of those that was early there, every day early on time, always wanting to see where the individual could help, was the last one to leave, always offering, where is it that I can help out? Always a to-go guy. But the other this other individual made phone calls and said, I got these many votes. Well, guess what? That position got tabled and they didn't go through the recommendation. I was like, we need to get away from that. That should not be happening. Just like another position, young lady, the day before, people had applied for a job, and you had all these individuals who worked in that department, who have, been with the department 20, 25 years, and they finally see a position that they felt, oh my God, this is it. This is for me. The job description changed from that night to the next day when the board meeting was, because they situated the job description to fit that person that they hired. I'm like, you even if you make stuff like this up, you're like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. It should not be happening.
So let's say you win. What is your platform, or what is your ideas of changing those type of stories?
Transparency, bringing hiring practices back, giving the principals the power to hire their people. At the end of the day, when we place, like it happens today, when the board places individuals under them and they're failing at their job because a lot of these individuals aren't fulfilling their responsibilities, it leaves the principal, with nobody, because the person that they wanted or they could have hired, they didn't hire because they ended up having to fill in the slot with somebody that was placed there. And they don't tell that person anything because they'll right away tell you, do you not know who I am? Or do you not know who I'm related to? Or do you not know who I'm friends with? Well, yeah, really? You get paid to do a job, do your job. I'm going to mention my dad. When my dad, before he passed away, my dad was in a nursing home, not a nursing home, physical therapy with a mission. And I had a young man come and called me over to his table. We're at the dining room. And he says, "Óigame, hijo, ¿ese no es Lucrecio Flores?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he goes, he gave me my job with La Jolla 25 plus years ago. And I said, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "They don't make people like your dad anymore." And I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "When I was new to this community and I didn't know anybody and I didn't know, I needed a job, I had a family." He goes, "I went and I asked people who I could talk to." And so I said, "You know what, let me," they said, "You know what, go talk to this man," which was my dad. He goes, I went and spoke to your dad, and I told him that I was coming. I think he said he was coming from California. And my dad, listened to him, and he said, you know what, leave me your number. Let me make some phone calls. Made some phone calls. The next day, my dad calls his man back and tells him, go talk to so-and-so, and tell him that you're the individual that I was, that I talked to them about. I was, oh, sir, thank you very much, And so the man went, he got hired. He came back, the next day to thank my dad for the opportunity. He goes, sir, what do I do to repay you? How can I repay you for this gesture? He says, haz tu trabajo y no me hagas quedar en mal. Do your job and don't make me look bad. Mm. He goes, I went to go, my daughter graduated as a school teacher from UTRGV, and I went and asked to see what she could do to get a job with La Jolla. And he gone to talk to several board members. He goes, and they asked me for $5,000. And I was like, what? Stuff like that should not happen. They were asking for money for that person to get the job. What? And I said, that should not happen. He goes, things have changed so much. And again, whether it's true and it's not true, if the shoe fits, you wear it. If you're doing it, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, I think that comment right there, I mean, we'd have to talk to that person, that individual. I don't know if it's correct or not. I mean, if it happened, that's wrong. If
it's wrong, exactly. Like I said, I don't know how true it is, but if it is true, I told the young man, sir, it's sad, and that should not have happened. And I said, well, talk to another board member. He goes, no, hombre, I gave up. He goes, my daughter, thank God, got hired somewhere else. And I said, wow, what have we turned to? We're money hungry, power hungry. People, today are more worried about, self-interest and how big their bank accounts are instead of doing what's right and what's best for the community, what's best for our school district, what's best for our kids.
So, I mean, you present good points if that stuff's going on. How do you come in? I mean, we talked about transparency. What else do you do differently as a school board member for the district that you're seeing that needs work on?
I think that we need to invest more money into technology. I think that our kids today, we're in a technology world. You can't go anywhere without using a computer. I mean, you and I know right now I'm struggling because I wasn't, we weren't raised on technology. My technology was a processor. I even had that. I don't even remember. But we need to do better. And I would, what I would want to do is build a partnership with our community businesses and try to get these kids, our juniors and our seniors who sometimes take a half day, go back into the community and talk to these businesses about having them shadow them and maybe try to have like a job. What do you call it?
Like a job fair or something?
Like
an internship?
Internship. There you go. An internship. We have a lot of businesses in our community. We have auto shops, we have tech mechanics, we have welding, we have flower shops, we have portrait shops, photography shops, we have restaurants. I mean, all these businesses, I would ask for them to join our vendor list. And just like they do clusters with the schools, they should do clusters with those businesses. And those businesses share the wealth of what the school district, instead of outsourcing outside of our school district, give more of an opportunity to those businesses in our community to help them out. And then at the end of the day, not only do they help us out, but we help them out. Building a partnership so that our kids also, some of our kids are not college ready, or that's not what they're looking forward to. So maybe something like this that they may enjoy doing, or, those people that make shirts or whatever, they may be something that they want to invest in. I mean, something. We got to help our community, our businesses. We need to share the wealth within our community, instead of having those few businesses that that share the pie here in La Jolla. It should be a partnership of all our school district and any business. There's got to be something that every business could benefit. Not only them, but our kids can benefit. And at the end, have these businesses offer scholarships to our kids. Because we're helping them make money, and they're helping, our kids do do an internship or possibly get the idea of this is the kind of route I'd like to take, because a 4-year college is not what I want to do, then you know what, you've already opened some doors for them, or got them in the door of knowing what to expect from, that kind of a job.
Right. I like that idea because, I mean, I was a graduate assistant where I was working for Indiana State. At the same time, I had the director guiding me. I had the responsibilities. So that was pretty cool. And I think, I know La Jolla and most districts nowadays have the trade classes, welding and all that. But now you're talking about taking a step further and saying, okay, now you have this trade that we train you in. Now go practice it at 2-3 hours, 5, maybe let's say 10 hours a week at a local business. That'd be pretty cool.
Right. I mean, there's, and I'm sure that we can offer a lot more of those trade schools. Cosmetology, we have, I think, welding. I think we have a body shop. Let's invest in I don't know, we have air conditioning, but that'd be another.
Stuff,
HVAC, electrician. What was another thing? Not necessarily here, because I was looking at the trade schools. People that work with elevators, mechanics. Mm-hmm. There was like 10 areas that you could possibly go into the trade business, in the school district. And I think that's something La Jolla seriously needs to look into. How do we get these kids the licenses, straight out of high school, where they can already benefit, go out there into the real world and put it to use. Right. Just like we pay for college courses, this would be the college course. They're not going to a 4-year college, but they're going to invest into this trade school. Let's also get them the licenses. Invest in our kids.
Good point. Good point there. That way they're ready when they graduate. Is there what else is there that you might say? Okay, what other changes do we need to make in the district?
I think we need to offer more incentives for students and more incentives for teachers. I think that, like right now, the pandemic, I think as an incentive, I would offer you all, to pay for teachers half of their Wi-Fi, internet, half of their cell phone. There's so much they're having to make phone calls. Yeah. They're having to make phone calls. You're not utilizing the school lights, so there's going to be extra monies there. So utilize it and helping these teachers, because you and I know we live on a budget. We make good money, but our money's already budgeted. And so when you are bringing something new to the table, and for me, because I didn't have internet because I was never home, so I had to invest in internet when all this happened. It kind of, okay, where am I going to make cuts to make sure I can afford the internet? I think that as a school district, reimburse the teachers, for their phone bill, half their phone bill, half their internet, incentives for kids. We should be offering technology, have more their own laptop or iPads or whatever you want to call it. Have them the tools, again, offer them the resources for them to be able to go out there and give all those businesses a try. I mean, just making sure we have the correct tools to help these kids succeed from the elementary to the middle school to the high school. In the elementary, they're asking for more people to work. They're asking for a testing strategist because it's only the principal and I think the counselor. I don't even know if they have a supervisor, but they're asking for someone to get just the testing strategist job. And they're saying, well, she could help us out with administrative duties, but that would be a big help with hiring a teaching strategist. And now I hear at the middle school that they're going to take away counselors and assistant principals, and they're going down to one principal, one assistant principal, and one counselor. And I'm like, are you kidding me? With 900 students, and you think 3 administrators is going to be enough? A lot of times you're already stretching, these administrators thin. We need more people in the school setting and less people up at the top. I don't know if you ever seen the structure at the top end, the administrators, but oh my God, we got tons of people there. And hiring more teachers. I've done a lot of homework, and in the it's a report that they do at the end of the year or at the beginning of the school year where it says that La Jolla, the student ratio is 14-1. Do you have 14 students to 1 in your classroom, sir?
No, ma'am.
Do you know of anybody who does?
No, ma'am.
Exactly. So how is it that it's on that report and yet I don't know of anyone that's in the teaching field that can tell me that their student teacher ratio is 14-1. It would be 14 to, yes, 14-1.
That's a great ratio.
That would be, wouldn't that be a
That's
dream
a
world?
great ratio. Yeah. At Mendezville ISD, I posted the other day. That's what we have, 16 max. And my make-believe school district with no
Yeah,
cap.
exactly.
Yeah.
And your make-believe, you know, in your
Where did you
make-believe
find?
school.
Okay, so let me give you this. So for the voters and the public, where did you get that number, and where do they find that?
If you go into the La Jolla ISD website
Mhm.
and you go into the finance department, and then you go into the financial transparency, it's the very top, the first one. I can't remember exactly the name, but it's a 236 page report of all what the school spends. You know, where it's on the budget.
All right, time out. Do you mind educating the viewers here a little bit or no?
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. You're gonna guide me through this. Watch this. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's share the screen. I'm gonna share this screen. That way the voters and the community knows how this works. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So now I'm gonna open up a new tab. So let's educate people. Okay. This is all about information. So I'm gonna go here, correct?
Go to La Jolla ISD.
Do you see what I'm seeing? The screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I can't see. Okay, so now where am I going now so the people can know?
You're going to you're gonna go to departments.
Departments. Okay.
Yes, you're gonna click on departments.
Okay. So
you're gonna scroll down.
I'm gonna scroll down.
Scroll down.
Where am I going?
And go to finance.
Finance. I don't see it. Can you tell me? Am I wrong? Administration and finance. Here it is.
Yes, administration and finance.
Where am I going after this?
Okay, read them to me because they're so small.
There's administrative and finance, accounts payable, budget and finance.
No, administrative and finance.
Okay, so people go here to find out. There's also financial transparency down there. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe
so
that's
financial transparency. There it is.
Yeah, that's
report.
it. Audit report. The very first one. The very first one.
Okay,
yes.
Let's click on that real quick. All right, we're informing the voters, informing the community how they find information.
Okay,
there's
scroll
nothing
down.
wrong with information. All right.
Now scroll down.
All right.
Okay, so you're gonna run into go down. Go down.
Okay.
And keep going. Right. And you're gonna see the organizational chart in a minute. Keep going.
Okay, let's see this. I have no. I mean, I'm going by what you're saying.
You've never seen it.
No.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
You know, good for the public to know. I'm a fan of information.
Keep going.
Okay. How far do you kind of know how far?
Oh, it's the first. I want to show you the organizational chart so that everybody can see. You know, here we are. You know, trying to condense or you know do less. That motto. More with less.
While I'm scrolling down, let me give you this. So, my wife works at Mission Hospital. They got bought out, and when they got bought out, they kind of slashed about.
Half
I would say
staff.
30, about 40% of the staff, and yet the hospital is still running and is working well, and they're saving money. So from what I'm hearing from you is less administration, more teachers. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I just think when I worked at La Jolla, you know, central office, like I said, 30 years ago, the administration building was that red house.
Yes, I remember that. Long time ago, yes.
Everybody was housed on that, and that was administration building. We even had the tax office in that building, and now we have them at Nelly Jr. And every office in that or every classroom now is an office. And I was really surprised. I had never really been there. Look, you see this? That's the central office. That's all the organizational chart here. Look at all the people under business and finance, personnel. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So in your opinion, you going into running for election, you'd say we have too many of these people?
Yes, I do. I do think we have too many, or maybe they need to be recategorized because
consolidated. Maybe.
Yes, that's just too many. You know, here where we should be investing more into the people dealing with kids in the trenches, and I honestly don't know what role each of these people play, and I'd like to know.
By any chance, do you know how much these people get paid? I don't know.
Oh, and that's why I think that the salaries are not posted anywhere because they're not willing to tell anybody. Now scroll all the way down. I think it's to page maybe 211.
Okay, where am I? I don't even know what page I'm on.
It should tell
31.
you up
Okay,
in
let me
the
go.
yeah
Yeah, I see it.
two
All right, let me
eleven.
go to 211. I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. 210 and 211. Is this
Is
it?
that one?
I
I
don't know.
can't.
It
It's real
says La Jolla
small.
Independent School District schedule of student information.
No, that's
Uh,
one of them. Let me see.
I'm not
The
sure.
student teacher
Oh yeah,
ratio.
it says
Where?
right here. It says teacher to student ratio. 2019, it was 14.9% of free reduced lunch, 88%. Number of economically disadvantaged students, 25,980. Percent of economically disadvantaged students, 92.8%.
Does that
So,
make sense to you?
well, I mean, I understand what they're saying here. These numbers. Student
Exactly.
teacher to student ratio, 14.9. So does that mean? So they're saying, let's say 15
Right.
students to one teacher.
Right. That's what I understand.
Interesting. No, I'm
Yeah.
glad you
And
are
if
sharing this
and if you
information.
look and if you look at the numbers, there's a chart there, and I don't know exactly. I don't remember what exactly, but there's a chart there that tells you how many teachers, how many administrative, central support staff. It's all on there. And
Mm.
if you look at the teachers number went down from 2010 to 2019. You know, you
Wow.
went from 1910 teachers or 1910, and I think we're at 1820 or something like that. How can we have less teachers in 2020?
We should have
But
more.
yet,
No, okay. We should have
I
more according to.
I would I would think so. I would think so. And then in the administration, you know, the administrator support, I think it's like central support or something like that. You know, their numbers are higher. So why is it that those numbers are higher than the teachers' numbers? It just doesn't make sense. And I think, you know, again, I mean, I honestly don't think every board member reads through this or is not well versed in that report.
Mm.
But I mean, obviously, like I said, I've never seen a class with 15 to 1. I've never heard of any of my friends tell me, I only have 15 kids. It's wonderful. I've never heard of anyone tell me that.
I'm interested. My thing right now is I'm trying to analyze how that what formula they use and what not only La Jolla but more of all the districts, what numbers they have. And I'm glad you shared with us where to find that information on that finance transparency stuff. That's pretty interesting stuff. I think more of the community, more of the parents, more of the voters need to understand what is being put on there and what people are actually getting. You know,
Right.
that's interesting.
I think that you know that's if people want to know exactly what's being reported to us, you know, like because that's supposed to be the financial report for the district. And like I said, every you know the Federal Reserve, the federal fund, the reserve fund, everything is in there, and it tells you where they get their monies from, the state, the federal, you know, and where they have those monies invested. And they talk about bonds and they what programs like the CAPE program, you know, when they have kids graduate with the license, you know, because the state reimburses them. You know, it's interesting to find out where exactly those monies get put to, you know, and how they reinvest it into our kids, because it
Right.
doesn't talk about how it's reinvested into the kids. And at the end of the day, what I say is we have a job because we have students. If we didn't have students, we wouldn't have a job. So our priority should be how do we best service our kids is by putting more teachers out there.
Oh
You
no,
know,
absolutely. You know, it's funny you mentioned that because now we're talking. Now I'm going to make a national, this whole national, you know, president and Congress, and there's two things that I want to make sure people understand from my point of view, and then of course you can comment on that. Is one is I believe that the president and the vice president and all this national stuff they talk about all these the nation is not where it's supposed to be and we're having all these troubles. It's like if you really want to fix it, just give me a 16 to 1 student to teacher ratio.
right.
Like if we can have less kids in the classroom, you're gonna fix America.
More productive.
Like
Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
gonna be more
fix
productive.
America.
You're
Forget
gonna be more
this
productive.
military spending and all these contracts. Just fix the classroom and give less students per teacher, and you're gonna fix America. The other one I have is a lot of people, you know, in my posts or Facebook say, "Well, you don't like taxes, Rudy." I was like, you know what? It's not that I don't like taxes. I think that when we're taxed too much and we don't see it, and I want to see where the tax dollars are. And I think that it's not that I mind the taxes so much, it's when we have those elected officials, I don't even call them leaders anymore. It's like you're an elected representative. You're here you got elected to represent us. Whether it's school board, city, region, state.
Right.
You got elected to represent us. You're an elected
You're the
representative.
voice. You're the
elected
voice.
representative.
Yes.
Please don't frivolously manage or spend money. Like you're not you're talking about backdoor deals and contracts. And for example, my buddy Jake Solis, he mentioned today how an example was, you make for the military, you make a bullet that costs 25 cents, right? It costs you 25 cents to produce, and you're gonna charge the government contract $50 per bullet, and it's way overboard. But you're like, how can I say that's okay? It's like, hey, just say it's okay, and a good chunk of that money I'm gonna put it back in your campaign. That's the example he said, and I'm like, yeah. Even Mr. Master Chapa was here. Like, it's been happening in America for many years. I'm like, and in my mind, I was like, well, yeah, I cannot control the nation, but locally,
you can control here. Yeah.
But locally, we need to put a stop to that if it is happening. I'm not saying it is, but if it is happening, there's got to come a point where you say, whether it's Rio Grande, La Jolla, Roma, Brownsville, wherever it is that at what point do we stop doing that?
At what point is it enough? At what point have people had enough of that? Those kind of situations from happening. And I think that's where we're at today. People are tired of the same situation, continue. It's like a cycle. It don't matter who we put in there, if it's within their slate, if it's when, it's like, if it's one slate or the other, guess what? It's not going to change anything, because those individuals are you always say, follow the money. That's right. Follow the money. Lucas who's financing their campaign. Those are the people that are going to be pulling the strings. Bottom line.
That is an interesting point you make. So you talk about transparency, and I'm glad it's financial transparency. You guided us through that. You talk about bringing more technology to kids. The internship idea is pretty cool. The scholarships is good. Anything else that we're missing from your platform and your ideas? Stipends. You mentioned stipends, increasing the stipends for coaches. I'm a big fan.
There's so many things, that I would want to try to do better, Right. I know that Rome wasn't built in a day, and I know all this is going to take time to get done. Like I said, my intention is not to go in, okay, you're all fired because y'all don't agree with me. No,
right. No, okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But you know what? I am going to look at what the responsibilities are, and how you're going to be held accountable. And if the opportunity was given and you failed at that opportunity, well, you know what? You failed. You know what? And there needs to be more accountability. And the hiring practice, again, that's another thing. We need to be more transparent there. We need to be more transparent with salaries. We need to be more transparent with let me go with buses, transportation.
That's a big one. That's a big one every year.
Every year.
That's an election year, and something happens after the election.
Yeah,
and not just here, everywhere.
Everywhere, but transportation. Here you have individuals that have been with the district, 15, 20, 25 years. I don't understand.
Hey, shout out to my boy Lupe Hernandez. He's with For Life. Great guy. Either way, sorry.
I don't understand how hard it is to share the wealth with the bus drivers. In the sense of, there are always complaints that the same bus drivers always get the extra hours or the extra trips. Wait, there should be who's next? If you have 150 bus drivers, scratch them out as they're taking trips, and if they don't want to take the trip when it was offered, because you go to the next one. It's not fair. That's always the same people, that are getting those extra hours. Everyone has families. Everyone, has to put food on their table. How fair is it that you get that opportunity and somebody else doesn't? Keep it fair. I'm always firm, fair, and consistent. You've got to have that motto, and it should be something that should be firm, fair, and consistent. My Mr. Cuevas, my boss, at one time he always shared that with us. We need to be firm, fair, and consistent.
You talking about Hector? I'm gonna have him on the show.
He's awesome. He's gonna come on the show. He was an awesome boss. He was an awesome boss.
Firm, fair, and consistent.
Firm, fair, and consistent. And that needs to be across the board with any department. Everyone should be treated the same. No one should be treated any different. Your expectations should be the same from person A to person B. There should not be as, oh, do you not know who that person is, or that person is untouchable. You got the job. You're getting paid to do the job. The expectation is for you to, to do your job. Accountability.
Mm-hmm. So that's another one of your platforms are on the agenda is accountability.
Yes.
Good stuff. Pamela, I think I've run out of things. I think, we can go back to coaching and talk about that and parenting and advice. You know what? Actually, there's some people actually asking here. Let's see, talking about athletics, because I got a guy who wants to know what the procedures are for you're going to take for fall sports. But you guys, as of right now, look, let me put it on there just so you can see. It's this one right here, or no, this one. Is mission football still a go? What do you know about that?
And from my understanding, it is. I think for us, our parents were sent surveys to find out if they were willing to allow their child to participate or not. And if they were, then we're going to start practice.
Right.
And I understand there was a lot of parents that said yes. So
I saw that on Facebook, that there's a lot of, the whole tailgate, not the tailgating, but the drive-through and signing the petition.
They had the drive-through. They had people at central office, parents that want, again, they want to have these individuals, allow their kids to participate. They're saying if Walmart is full, if HEB is full, and restaurants are full, what's the big difference with allowing these kids to play something? And I understand, especially for the senior kids, those are football season, volleyball season. A lot of these kids are looking for an opportunity to play at the next level, and they're afraid they're going to miss out because they didn't get to participate. So I understand.
My biggest thing with that is all you have to do is take care of your immune system. Make sure you educate your cells with the transfer factor molecules to educate the immune system, and that's it. So I'm going to put my marketing logo up there for now. But you talk about, and this is more just for the general public and decisions that are made, is the parents are deciding. The parents want to play. And I know there's some parents that are, do you know of any other, I know La Jolla's not playing. Do you know of any other districts that aren't going to play in the fall?
No. La Jolla, I think, is the only one that's done that.
Which I respect that decision. Whoever made the decision, I respect it. The other side of it is, what about the kids that do want to play? Like, I don't know if UIL is letting them transfer over to other districts or not, or things of that nature. Because
that has not been shared with us. And again, they were put in a bad situation, especially those senior kids that were wanting to play, to get that opportunity to play at the next level. So I understand.
Especially those that are pretty good.
Yes, I understand. I understand from the kid's point of view, the parent's point of view. And I understand from the point of view of the parent that's kind of afraid to put their kid out there. But again, they were given the choice. They don't have to participate.
Right. At least as a parent, you have the choice. Like, okay, my son's not playing and these are playing. Another thing is, you mentioned the grocery stores, the Walmarts, the restaurants where people are out and about, is daycare's never closed. Or at least a lot of daycares. The sports, a lot of people are playing in leagues, in tournaments. Trainings are happening.
Right.
It's here in the area and the valley. I'm thinking to myself, well, kids are kind of still. I mean, personally, I think at my household, my wife said our kids aren't going to school, right? But that's she's the boss when it comes to the kids. I can't tell her now, but there's that aspect of parents want their kids to play.
Yeah. And you got to respect that. It's their child. And if they choose to have their kid play, who are we to make the decision for them?
Right.
I myself am not, I have a child who's got a compromised immune system. So of course I'm not going to send her to school.
Really? I might be able to help you, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
You're not going to send her to school.
No.
Of course not, because of the compromised immune system. You know what? Let me ask you something. And you mentioned it, and it just came back to my train of thought here, and I've been very curious about this, and I think, okay, for the public that wants more about politics, I'm done talking about politics. I think we know Pamela Flores and her stats, but now I'm talking to the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I had Basilio Mendoza on the show the other day. Pretty good, entertaining. He was my coach back in the day.
Right.
My wife's coaches were the Ibarra sisters. From what I know, from the very outside, these coaches are world renowned.
Yeah.
Like you want a volleyball, you want your daughter to be a good volleyball player, you send them to Coach Ibarra. I don't even know which one.
It's Coach Lerma.
Or Lerma.
Volleyball, they're
Lerma.
gurus. They're
Yeah,
gurus of the
see,
sport.
I don't even know. Ibarra, Lerma, I don't even know. Sorry. So it's
I mean,
so
well,
got it wrong.
Coach Ibarra, is also a very, very a great coach, But Coach Lerma
So my point is, which ones are the ones that were at La Jolla back in 98, 97, 99?
all three of them.
So Ibarra, Lerma,
And the little sister Trevino, Gloria.
So okay. So my thing is this. Why did we let go of them? Like, do you know? Like, why? To me, I'm like, I need the best coaches for the. Oh man, it's like, how good are they, and why did they leave? I mean, we know how good they are.
Yes.
Right? They're amazing, according to what I hear.
They are. They like I said, they know the game ins and outs. I mean, they eat, sleep, and breathe the game.
I should bring them on the show. I should bring them on the show and tap into
let me tell you, their characters. Coach Ibarra is more like the mother hen. Coach Lerma is the wild. She's crazy and go getter. And Gloria, I mean, I think she's just as wild and crazy as Coach Lerma. But yeah, we work with all of them. I think that it came to a point in time where they were at a different time. La Jolla was trying to go in one direction and they were going in another direction. There was a lot of things going on at that time with the athletic program and with what was expected. And I think at that time, the board decided to go in a different direction. Yes, it was a hard loss because, yes, I mean, they're gurus at their sport. Coach Mendoza is a guru at running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had Coach Lupe Sosa. She's also a guru at cross country. I mean, La Jolla has had some of the best coaches, work with us here at La Jolla. And we have also, we still have a lot of these coaches here in La Jolla, who continue to bring championships to the plate. Or, and I know that when we divided the schools into three, I mean, La Jolla took a big hit. Yeah, it took a big hit because now you were having to, you had one big school, one big combined talent, and now you were having to share the talent. And so I just think at that time the school went in a different direction, but they're home. A lot of us dream about going home and coach at our alma mater. We all do. I mean, I think that when I graduated from college, I mean, I was like, man, I can't wait to go to La Jolla. I can't wait to,
Oh, that was me. That was me. Yeah. I wanted to come and share my talents with all the students.
Right. To showcase your best thing, give your kids your best and show them that, what, this is the pride. I'm a big thing, pride. I have a lot of pride in La Jolla. I don't allow anyone to talk bad about La Jolla. I can talk bad about La Jolla, but no one else is allowed to talk bad about La Jolla. And so I think that they're home. Like I said, when I graduated from college, I was like, man, I can't wait to go make a difference. I can't wait to be that person that changes lives, Right. And my dream was cut short, and I had to make that decision. Do I continue to stay and live and put up with an unhealthy environment for me, or do I move on and try to be happy? I remember my dad was not very happy with that decision because he wanted us to be a part of the system that he too was a part of. I mean, my father is a graduate of La Jolla too. We're graduates. My nieces graduated from La Jolla. So it was important for all of us to graduate, to come back and make a difference. And my dad was such a big athletic supporter, big supporter really for anything. But there wasn't a night, and I don't know how he did it because we were at sport events Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Every day. And today I get home and I'm like, I don't even want to go anywhere because I'm so tired. I don't know how times are so different. And so I think that La Jolla will always my home. I mean, I always say the kids is my priority. The students are my priority. I'm always trying to help out people. I may not be sitting on that board, or I may not be the most influential person, but I'm very vocal, and I will make sure that if something is going on, I rant a lot about it on Facebook. If sometimes they listen because I hear people trying to, somebody said something that you said and they're trying to do something about it. Why? Because I make it my point to go and hey, what's going on here? Why are we not doing this? Why is this not taken care of? And I let people know. This is a great platform. Social media is a great platform to make people aware of what's going on, because a lot of people don't know. They don't know.
I think the more we share, it kind of holds them accountable.
Yes, and they don't want to. They're afraid of people like me, to put things out there. And I'm not, you know, if it's one thing my dad taught me is how to be self-sufficient, how to be vocal, and how to be independent. He also said, be the person of your word. If you're going to give your word, you stand by it. And when you say something, you stick to what you say. And if you are wrong, you apologize for it.
Right.
And that's what I stand for.
Well, Pamela Flores running for place 6 in La Jolla ISD School Board. Pamela, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your words, your experience, your knowledge, your information. I really appreciate that. And I wish you luck in the campaign.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mendez, for allowing me to be here. Again, hopefully that my community can give me an opportunity to serve on the board on November 3rd. Coach Pamela Flores, place 6. I'm on the number 3 slot. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Bye-bye. Well, that is Coach Pamela Flores. I had never met her before. It's good. She shared some good information, some good insight. I'm a fan of the fact that, the coaching part, we're both coaches. We have those philosophies, the way we think and getting students ready. And interesting how she mentioned about the coordinator positions. I didn't know that they got that over there. Some pretty good points, pretty good perspectives. I do want to say thank her. I want to thank her for guiding us through the transparency and the financials. I don't know of the public or the community knows about how to do that. That's good to research. I'm interested in the 14.9, I guess 15 students teacher ratio. I want to know how that formula works. Not to say it's right or wrong. It's more of understanding how that formula comes out. That's pretty interesting, and not only for us, but maybe across the valley and the state, how that formula came about. I think most teachers in the state would know that we have a lot of students in our classes and we have to develop them. I know a lot of teachers go home stressed and trying to make sure that their kids are getting better and producing and learning more than anything, learning and being good individuals. I know with this virtual stuff, it's a big hectic situation. I know some schools already went through it. I see some posts that teachers are they're getting by. They're getting by and they're learning. There's that learning curve, and I think we all have to be understandable. Before we go, just want to mention one more time that this broadcast was brought to you by World Finance. When life throws unexpected expenses your way, World Finance is here to help. Whether it's medical bills, car repairs, or child care expenses, personal installment or title loans can help you take control and get back to good things in life. They are located at 1600 North Conway, Suite A, Mission, Texas. They take applications by phone at 956-580-4533, or you can visit their website at loansbyworld.com. They're accepting applications with matriculas, passport, or ITIN. You do not need to have a social to apply. All loans are subject to their usual credit underwriting policies. I hope you enjoyed the show. Politics is pretty cool. I think we as a community, we get to see and hear the way people think, the perspectives once they get elected, if they do get elected, what they bring to the table, what kind of ideas they have. I think this is a very interesting race in the sense that there's 2 to 3 candidates per seat. There's so many analysis in my mind, like good, why this, why that, what am I missing? Not to say that the people are there are not doing a great job. I think they're doing a good job, but obviously the people that are running see something I don't. We shall see. It's up to the voters to vote. With that being said, you guys have a good night. Enjoy your Labor Day tomorrow, and we'll see you. Actually, I have somebody on tomorrow night. It's going to be a good one from California. Well, have a good night.